Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. I hope you are having a great day. Today's story includes wedding drama, toxic family, manipulation, exploitation, gaslighting, and favoritism between siblings. Be aware. Am I the idiot for not inviting my siblings to my wedding? From Vic_Titius. My sister, 34 female, and her husband, 36 male, just got married 3 months ago. I, 30 female, was appointed maid of honor. I was so excited to help her plan her wedding and I took on most of the work, since I was unemployed at the time and she's a doctor. I won't get into details, but take note she didn't have a wedding planner, it was all me. The time leading up to the wedding, I was miserable, because of how the bride treated me. I felt like her own personal slave that she felt she could kick around because she's the bride. Just because you're a bride doesn't mean you get a free pass to be a witch. Exactly. Many times I wanted to just step out of the wedding party, but I kept telling myself to just bite my tongue and keep the peace, because she's probably just stressed. After doing so much for her, she refused to invite my fiancé even though we'd been together for 12 years, but invited my siblings' partners, who have been around for only 2-3 years. My sister and her guy dated for a year before they got engaged, so we don't really know him too well. She said she didn't want my fiancé around, because people would be asking about my own wedding, since they've all been wanting us to get married for a while. Wow. I refused to do any more work for her wedding, until she apologized to me and invited my fiancé, which she did. Not exactly sincerely, but whatever. I was hurt she wasn't even grateful for anything that I had done for her and her dream wedding, because it was expected of me to help. No, it wasn't. Cut to the day of the wedding and everything was fine, the ceremony was beautiful and the couple was happy. I was happy for my sister. By the time we got to the reception venue, I noticed that my fiancé and I were on a separate table from my family. They were at the VIP table and I was cast aside to sit at the furthest table, right beside the kitchen. I figured there was a mistake and I calmly asked the bride about it. Since she handled the seating plan, she looked me dead in the eye and said there's no mistake, that's where we belong, at the kids' table and far away. We were seated with 7 to 14 years olds. The groom overheard us and agreed with me, but kept quiet when my sister gave him this, "Don't you dare disagree with me, look." At the end of the night, the groom apologized to my parents for what happened to me, and said he had no clue why his bride did that, but he didn't say a word to me, as his bride told him not to. Because of this, I decided to not make an issue and just try to enjoy the remainder of the night with my partner, but I wouldn't make a maid of honor speech. My parents noticed where I was and got upset at the situation as well. My siblings knew very well I wasn't at their table, but didn't bother looking for me or wondering why I wasn't seated there. When they heard I wasn't making a speech, my 2 brothers walked to my table to tell me off, saying I had to understand my sister and the stress of being a bride, be nice to her, because it's her special day and you're only a bride once. Yeah, right, I bet they'll divorce. Me too, OP, me too. That I'm a disgrace and a disgusting disappointment for not doing a speech for my sister, that I would make my sister sad, and I was being selfish making the night about me, when I was literally quiet in our corner. Needless to say, I wasn't having the best time, so we got up and left. We ended up in McDonald's for dinner and I posted a story of us getting burgers saying post-wedding meal. I made sure I posted it after the reception ended to not make it look like I ditched, but my siblings saw this as an attack to my sister somehow. Up to this day, the bride says she did nothing wrong and her reasoning for putting me there was, 1, I didn't plan her wedding exactly like she envisioned during the process, so I deserved to sit there, when I was doing everything she told me she wanted. 2, she didn't like that I looked pretty in my gown, and 3, I needed to be punished for insisting on bringing my fiancé. I didn't plan for my own wedding yet, as I wanted to be 100% focused on hers. Plus she banned me from getting married before her, since she's older, again because I didn't want the drama. I agreed, but now I just don't want anyone there except my parents and a few close friends. My parents agree with me, but my siblings are upset calling me childish, but to be completely honest, I just don't feel like paying for shit people. Mine is a destination wedding and my fiancé and I are paying for everything. These are our savings and I don't feel like splurging on these people. They along with my grandparents and cousins are all saying I'm wrong, but hey, if I was excluded from being a sibling at my sister's wedding and no one cared, then why would you be upset if I excluded you in return? OP, wedding planning issues aside, one possible explanation for all this is that your sister really dislikes your fiancé. In regards to my fiancé, there's nothing he did to her to warrant being treated so rudely. We started dating when we were quite young and I, as well as my parents, love him very much. He was my best friend for a long time and still is my favorite person to this day. My sister always hated that I had a boyfriend before she did, because she believed I wouldn't ever get married because of my disability. I'm epileptic. Her husband was her first boyfriend and she married him right away because she wants babies ASAP, since she's already 34 and her goal was to be married before 30, to the point that she started planning and booking vendors even before he actually proposed to her. So basically, she's pretty insane. Her actions are always based on jealousy, and the fact that I shouldn't be able to have things if she hasn't had them first, because she's the eldest, for example boyfriend, engagement, wedding, kids, etc. Oh my god. That's why she said I couldn't get married before her, because it was already a slap in her face that I got engaged younger than her. Basically she hates that I'm happy. She doesn't hate him, she hates me. No OP, she hates herself and her life, and you are not to blame here. She created all this in her insane mind. Maybe someone should give her a real slap in her face, to see if she comes to reality. Your sister is a selfish and jealous witch, it's that simple, and apparently the rest of your family, except your parents, can also be included in this category. You had no obligation to plan her wedding, even if you're her sister and maid of honor, you were doing her a favor, and she kept mistreating you, because she's a huge a-hole. It wasn't because of the wedding, stress, or work, it's because she is just who she is. And as I said, apparently your other siblings are too. And is she a doctor? I feel sorry for her patients. Also, part of me wishes you had given the maid of honor speech, and thrown some truths in her face. And, I initially agreed with you when you said that you believe she and her husband will get divorced soon, but he's clearly a doormat and she loves torment others, so it's very possible that they are actually made for each other. Also, your siblings and family aren't sad because they are not going to your wedding, they are sad because they're not going to have a free vacation. Anyway, focus on your wedding, plan the way you and your fiancé want it, and stay away of those mean, petty, and selfish people, who unfortunately are part of the family you were born into, but who don't need to continue being part of your life. Not the idiot OP, get rid of these people, and go live your best life. And what did you guys think of this situation? What advice would you give OP? How would you deal with a sister or family like that? Don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Now let's go to the first update. Oh, and I hope you are enjoying the video so far. If so, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notifications to know when a new video is out. Now let's go to the update. Update 1. Hi again, so I'll answer a few questions and leave a quick update. I, 30 female, come from a family of 5 kids. I failed to mention this because I didn't think it was all that relevant, but I actually have 2 sisters, 34 and 32, and 2 brothers, 26 and 22. A little more on my sisters, they're the best of friends, they're the picture-perfect model of sisterly love, while I'm the middle child with 2 younger brothers. So why did I agree to be the maid of honor? Well, because I thought it would bring us closer. In my mind, I believed that this was her trying to be more of a sister to me. You always hear stories of that sisterly bond around weddings, and I tried to nurture that, because that's what they had, and that sibling bond that my brothers had with each other as well. Any chance I'd get to connect with my sisters, I'd jump at the opportunity. It's more me just feeling left out than being a doormat. I was a very sickly child, and that is why I was mostly with just my parents growing up, while my siblings would be going out, meeting friends, etc. Which is what my siblings envied me apparently, they aren't close to my parents. Bride had both of us as maid of honor because she couldn't choose just one. Yeah, right. I later found out that I was always the second option, and I was just appointed maid of honor, so I'd do all the work, while other sister got all the praise. Yeah, your sisters are witches with a B. Which in hindsight, I should have seen it coming. While my brothers were busy harassing me about giving my speech, sister 2 was giving her own maid of honor speech about how she absolutely loves the bride, and will do anything for her, all that crap. She then conveniently calls all the siblings to the stage to toast the bride and groom when I was crying and rushing out, walking away from my brothers. So to the other relatives in attendance, I was, quote, making a scene and making it about me. No, it's not the first time she hurt me, fat-shamed me as a child, calling me a potato, saying things like I was a burden to the family because of my epilepsy, throwing all my makeup in the sink and wetting it because I moved her bath towel in the bathroom, calling me the stupid low IQ sister even if I'm a licensed architect with a master's degree, when her guy friends wanted to ask for my number, taking my dream church from me, which is why fiancé said we could do a destination wedding at my dream country instead. It's just the worst she's done to spite me in front of my entire family, and no, we still haven't spoken since then, and she still maintains that I was the one who ruined everything by getting upset about the seating. Yeah, just like an evil witch. Now for the update. We will elope, just the two of us and a handful of close friends that were there for us since the beginning of our relationship. We'll have a small church wedding and a little celebration on the beach with the people we love, our chosen family, followed by island hopping with our entire party around the Philippines. All paid by us, because I will spend on memories and experiences for people that love and appreciate us. The budget we set aside for a wedding in Italy will be put to an intimate 5-day wedding celebration on an island in the Philippines. We will have our reception with the family when we get back home. The plan is to invite both our big families to a luncheon the weekend after. Collectively, this would mean about 80 guests max. Both our parents wanted to help pay for the engagement party and rehearsal dinner. They agreed to pay for this luncheon/reception instead, meaning they could invite whomever they please. They handle the guest list, so if my siblings are invited, I couldn't care less, because I'll be too busy with my husband of 1 to 2 weeks by then. Here we can still have the father-daughter dance and a few other things like cake slicing, etc. We'll have piñatas, a brick oven pizza cart, coffee and pretzels, and an amazing Italian buffet with a pasta bar, lots of fresh fruit and cheese. Because who doesn't like cheese? As for seating plan, ever watched Mamma Mia 1? Think that. A long winding table where my siblings can be as far away from me as possible, and as close to the service area as possible, without it being obvious, because they'll all be together at their own, quote, siblings table. We'll be in the center with my fiancé, his 2 brothers, and our parents will be next to us, while my wonderful siblings are by the end of the table, by the restrooms, where they belong. LOL. I don't care at all if they're invited to this lunch, because I really have nothing left for them, not even anger. I'm just so done with them that I'd feel more for a stranger on the street than I would for these people. It's indifference. They've hurt me so many times that I'm numb to their existence. No Bridezilla allowed. My sister expects to be my maid of honor in return. Oh, the audacity. Definitely not going to happen, since my siblings won't be present in the ceremony. I do not need her around. I do not want her around. Yes, she will be invited out of courtesy to the reception most likely, but I will make sure she's set aside like I was. How so? We recently found out she's pregnant, so I'm planning my wedding around her due date. Oh well, luckily, she's due around June, which really was the month we wanted. So if she does decide to attend with a newborn and her hus, well then, she's going to be at the kiddie table and told to step out when baby starts to cry. Oh my god, lol. In the end, our wedding day is for us, and eloping is the only way I feel like we could just sit and enjoy our special day together, away from all my siblings and family issues. Then we get back, have a get-together lunch with some good food and good fun, which is really all it is to me, a lunch. Luckily, fiancé's family isn't as insane as mine is. So there you have it. Thank you all for your messages and comments and insights. I really was going a bit loco back then, thinking I was overreacting, but thank you so much for the clarity. Cheers to the end of this emotionally draining year. But you will invite them to the party. It's like saying, no matter what happened, come to my wedding. Sorry, but I think there is no way to avoid drama with these siblings. Thank you for the concern, but they aren't coming to the wedding, just a lunch after the fact, as in minimum 2 weeks after my wedding. They can do whatever drama they want during lunch, because they'll be the ones who look bad and I'd just laugh. I would have been married by then and done celebrating with my closest friends weeks prior, so by then I'd just be enjoying some pizza and wine with the hubby. OP said they're jealous of the attention OP got for being sickly when she was a kid. Sometimes parents can become so preoccupied with a sick child that they wind up neglecting the other kids. If that's the case here, then the siblings would have good reason to be angry, but they're mad at the wrong person. OP didn't ask for any of this. Anyway, these people are adults and they need to get their shit together. They're old enough to realize none of this is OP's fault. My parents were actually very supportive and did all they could to be as fair to all of us, so I really can't put fault on them. They're really amazing parents. I wasn't treated any different. I just didn't have many friends being absent from school constantly, so I'd hang with my mom. She's honestly my best friend. It was okay growing up, but the jealousy really was evident when we were in our 20s for whatever reason. Parents are allowed to be closer to one child if the others treat them like trash. Well, I'm glad OP and fiancé found a solution to their wedding plans that they liked. But even though it seemed great and fun, part of me thinks OP settled and had to change her original plans just because of her evil sister, and to keep peace in the family. I understand why she did it, but part of me wishes she kept her original plans, and had a grand wedding that she could rub in her sister's face. I don't care if it's petty, that woman deserves it. And regarding the alleged favoritism of the parents towards OP, I get that the siblings may be jealous of their relationship with OP, but it is no excuse for their actions, especially the ones from Bridezilla. And what did you guys think of this update? Do you agree with OP's decisions? Would you also do something like that, or not? Now let's go to the last update and see how this story unfolded. Final update. I know a number of you have been waiting, and I swear this is the soonest I could post. I'm sorry. I promise I'll explain. The wedding, I absolutely enjoyed wedding planning with my husband. If you ever decide to get married, do a small wedding, you'll live longer, I swear. We told our friends, and families, that we were pushing back the wedding and wanted to do a destination bachelor/bachelorette trip first. They had no idea we were actually getting married on this trip. We got to Boracay 3 days before everyone. For some us time, when friends arrived, we did all the fun island activities. The night before our wedding, we asked everyone to be up at 7 for breakfast and to dress up in tropical beach outfits for cute pics. We told them to pack this beforehand. Once everyone was there, husband told them we were to be married at 4 p.m. and this was actually an elopement. The excitement from all our friends will forever be a core memory. It's the best feeling to actually have people genuinely happy for you. Us girls did each other's hair and makeup, cried and hugged a lot, while the boys had a good time drinking and playing football. We had our phones and an old digital camera that we'd pass around, and that was it for our event photos. Surprises were our thing since we began dating, and it was just so sweet that we both thought to do the same for our wedding. I love flowers, but I didn't want to bother finding a supplier there. We did have someone help us with all the requirements, but that was it. I'd just get flowers for the luncheon instead. Well, my husband decided to speak to the hotel to surprise me. He knew my favorite flowers and made the prettiest bouquet ever. He also had the church filled and I ruined my makeup ugly crying when I walked in. For my husband, he is extremely close with his brothers, so I made sure to fly them out to surprise him too. He needed his best men there and I was happy to have them. We said our I do's, and headed to the hotel for dinner by the beach for a beautiful fight. Nothing fancy, but we were happy. The luncheon, before the elopement, I sent my seating plan to our family, because I didn't want them to make a scene on the day. Everyone thought these were the seating plans for our reception. Well, here's where my pettiness shows. My head table consisted of us, our parents, and my husband's brothers. All my siblings were at both ends of the long table. My favorite slap in the face though was a table for one way, and the back tagged breastfeeding area with sister's name on the chair. She was livid. I simply said I was looking out for her. I expected she'd want some privacy, no hard feelings, just thinking ahead. LOL. My siblings refused to come because they saw my elopement as an act of disrespect, especially since my brothers-in-law were there. They called our relatives to tell them to not come. Some were upset I could do that to family, and they did not agree with our union. I'm happy to report that from 127 guests, only 58 were coming, so I cut my budget by over half. Sounds like a win to me. The venue was my husband's small family farm, which was so beautiful that I didn't need to spend much on decor at all. Music was just a Spotify playlist we made, photos, prenup, beach and lunch, were all by my friends, cake was baked by me and mom 2 nights before, flowers I bought myself from the morning market, and arranged with my girls, my dress was just one I had in my closet. Food, we asked people to bring over potluck meals, instead of gifts if they wanted to, we still had our pizza oven, pretzel cart and coffee bar that we paid for instead of a caterer. E-invites were designed by us and sent via email. Since all of my siblings didn't want to attend, only Bridezilla's hubby got an invite, with no option for a +1. Oh my god lol. Her C-section was scheduled a week before my wedding. Did she notice I planned for her to miss the luncheon? Yes, she did. It was magical. LOL. Us being so unaffected upset them even more, but I've come to realize that the louder you try to force people to side with your opinions and your narrative, then the more toxic, unhinged, narcissistic you are. No, I didn't need to go no contact with them, because they all decided to go no contact with me. I didn't even need to try, blessings left and right. For those blaming my parents, none of my siblings were neglected, if anything, they gave my sibs so much more time and freedom to compensate for all the attention I needed. Remember, these kids are grown-ass adults, my parents are seniors, they're tired. They told my siblings off for being gigantic gaping a-holes, but what else can they do really? Put them on timeout? Since both our parents wanted to pitch in, they helped us with a down payment on a house instead. In return, we surprised them with a 1-week vacation each to Amanpulo. We saved so much from our wedding and luncheon, that we just wanted to show how much we appreciate their support and love. Lastly, any extra food and flowers were either taken home by guests or donated. That just made everything more special. Weddings are about love, our favorite people were around to celebrate us, and we made sure to also celebrate the love we have for them. Our family, best friends, dogs, who were the stars of the show really, I fully embrace this life of peace, contentment and indifference for my siblings, no idea what they're up to, sorry. They kicked me out of the group chat, and I only know my sister gave birth, because bro-in-law messaged she did. The last thing I heard is that they were still trying to badmouth my husband, but we really couldn't care less. We've moved on, sucks for them they haven't. Thank you all for following along. It was empowering to know I wasn't alone and enlightening to hear that this type of sibling BS isn't actually normal. This is your kitty table maid of honor finally signing off. P.S. A big reason I didn't get to update you is really bad morning sickness, baby. I do have a follow-up question. The original post talked about a destination wedding, in Italy, to which they were not invited. What makes it plausible to them they would be at the reception? They were invited to Italy. It's a given that family is invited to weddings, unless they're like mine, and they knew of our initial plans. Of course nothing was set in stone, because like I said, I didn't plan anything for my wedding because I prioritized hers. After my sister's wedding, I decided to find ways and means to uninvite them / make sure they don't attend, while they still believed they were sure invites because, family, which was the entire point of my posts. If I'd be the idiot, if I didn't invite them, and as stated, of course it was plausible to them they'd be at reception, because they believed they weren't wrong, and were still wanted at the wedding. Please read carefully. OP responds on how her parents treated her siblings when she was sick. Thank you for your opinion on the matter, but I sincerely believe it's not my parents' fault at all. I can't explain to you how my childhood turned out exactly, and I can't explain to you just how good my parents were, so if I can't convince you, then alright, but I'm going to always defend my parents on this. If you say they had trauma, well I've had far worse trauma growing up with epilepsy, and I never treated them poorly. Well, I'm glad that everything went well in OP's wedding, without drama, and that they had a great time with people who really care about them. And as for the siblings and other family members going no contact, don't feel like you're losing something OP, because you're actually getting rid of people who don't want your good. This was a blessing. And good luck in this new phase of your life, with marriage and motherhood. Good luck. And did you like this update? Don't forget to leave your comments down below. And that's it for today everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time.